welcome to the seventh episode of Research Cafe. I'm your host Kabir Hadi, and you are listening to the Research Cafe series, a live podcast initiative by the CliMed initiative by the Innovation and Ideation Club, brought to you by CliMed Research Organization. In this episode, we will start off by getting to know our guest, Ankit Majie. We will then explore the professional journey and hopefully learn from his experiences. Towards the end of the discussion, we will have a Q&A session. So stay tuned. Today we welcome Ankit Majie sir, a Ph.D. candidate and DST-INSPIRE Fellow at Birla Institute of Technology, Mesra. He has specialized in formulation development, nanoformulations, biomaterials, and wound healing. He particularly for traumatic and diabetic wounds. He has achieved first rank in M.Pharm Pharmacology, published journals like AAPS, Pharmacy and Pharmacology, hold patents for innovative wound care technologies, including nanoparticle mats and nanoparticle-based hydrogels. Multiple award-winning, including Best Poster and E-Poster competitions in national and international conferences. He is proficient in drug design software such as Autodoc, Pymol, and Sodinger. Experienced with pharmaceutical instruments like UV visible spectroscopy, DLS, and FESEM. Completed certification from IITs and International Institution on Drug Design and Clinical Research. Ankit sir is a rising star in pharmaceutical research, making significant contribution to wound healing and drug delivery system. So, welcome, sir. Welcome to our Research Cafe.
Thank you for your kind introduction, Kabir. Am I audible and visible to all of you?
Sir, absolutely, you're audible and visible, sir.
Okay. So, good morning, one and all present over here. I am Ankit Majie, Ph.D. scholar and DST-INSPIRE Fellow at IIT Mesra, and I am honored to CliMed Academy for providing me with this platform. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, let's start our session from your personal journey, sir.
Yes.
So, sir, sir, what motivated to pursue a degree in pharmaceutical sciences?
Actually, I was like all other students of India. I was trying for NEET trying for MBBS. So I failed there, and I accidentally came to this profession. I didn't know anything about this profession till class 12, but after failing NEET, I have to pursue something. So I came to this profession.
So, basically, I also share the same reason. So
most of the students do.
Most of the students, yes, sir. So, could you describe your experiences and major achievements during your Bachelor of Pharmacy at Guru Nanak Institute of Pharmaceutical Science and Technology?
My biggest achievement was I ranked third in all over West Bengal in Maulana Abul Kalam Azad University of Technology, which was formerly known as West Bengal University of Technology. I secured a CGPA of 9.27 at the end of my 8th semester. Means it was the overall CGPA of my B Farm, so I was ranked third. Apart from that, I participated in AICTE Chhatra Vishwakarma Awards in 2020, where our team reached the finals, but however we couldn't win because there were a lot of similar topics in that segment. Okay, so these are quite a few achievements of mine.
Sir, those are nice achievements. So, sir, can you share your experience and insights and few tips for us from qualifying NIPER, JE, and Ph.D. and GATE exams?
Yes. The PCI syllabus for B Farm course curriculum is designed very systematically. So nowadays, which I see is lots of coaching institutes have come up, but actually, if you follow the course curriculum, if you follow the institutes, whatever your teacher is teaching you at the institute, you can do it easily. And the second of all, you have to practice. Timing is the most important thing. You have to practice and practice the MCQs. Whatever free material is available on the internet, you have to practice that. And there are lots of YouTube channels, renowned YouTube channels in the internet, which provides free materials. You can proceed with that and you will have success. I did it like that, so you can also do it like that.
There are many resources that you can achieve your
Yes,
goal,
yes,
and
yes,
in this advancement in technology in the generation of
yes.
internet.
You don't
So
have to take extra tuition. You can have everything.
yes, definitely. So what were your key insights of your masters in pharmacology at BITS Mirza? And can you elaborate any significant projects and research you conducted during your masters?
So the biggest achievement was we developed a in-situ technique of nanoparticle synthesis, silver nanoparticle synthesis, which I have a patent. You can see of Clerodendrum glandulosum species. I worked under Dr. Vishwatri Sarkar, who is an assistant professor at PIT Mesra. So in this technique, we innovated the process of silver nanoparticle synthesis. Till date, it is reported that silver nanoparticle is synthesized as a whole and then added to the formulation. Okay, several marketed products are there that has this kind of technology, but in our case, we shortened the time period and we improve the yield, which will be a future direction for further silver nanoparticle synthesis. In this case, we have synthesized the silver nanoparticle within the biomaterial itself. So it is a very less time consuming and a very cost effective procedure which we have done. And currently we are having a technology transfer with one of the international uh, firms in pharmaceutical industry. So within next year or two, we will have our product launched into the market.
So best of luck for your product launch, sir. So
Thank you.
what were there any significant challenges you faced during your education or professional path, and how did you overcome them?
The biggest challenge which I faced was the economic burden, as I don't belong to a very uh, what to say. I belong to a very middle class family, and the two of my biggest mentors, which is my mom and dad, they supported me throughout the journey, and I am thankful to them. They were like they couldn't. They did everything for me. For them, I am here in front of you all, and I thanks to them.
So those were heart-warming words from you, sir.
Yes.
So which of your awards or reorganizations are you are most proud of, and how these influence your career and research approach?
Can you please repeat it?
So which of the awards or reorganizations are you most proud of, and how
Okay.
these influence your career and research approach?
Most of the awards are very precious to me. Uh, as from the school days, I was very introvert and I had a public fear of speaking. I still have a fear of speaking in stage, so which I have overcome during these days. I went for presentation, poster presentation in everywhere across the country. So that's how I did it. I have now overcome that stage fear and fear of speaking in front of public. So it was all of them are quite precious to me.
So those were the stage fear is faced by many students. Basically,
Yes,
I also have some amount of stage fear.
you
So
have to
is there
practice a
any?
lot in front of mirror. You have to practice a lot in your room itself. You have to think that there is an audience sitting in front of you, and you have to just practice, and that's how you overcome your fear. And another point is, whatever you are presenting, you should be the master of that. Okay, and you have to face every questions from the opposition. So that's how you do it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your words. So, can you provide us examples of how you applied your knowledge of software like Autodoc, Pymol, and other softwares in your research?
Yes. So basically, I am from pharmacology background, but my interest in silico studies was from my B.Pharm days, which I explored mostly in my masters, and I am still exploring in my Ph.D. journey. So the basics of in silico study is that whatever you are doing in research, it provides a validation. Okay. So initially, we all do literature study and all those things, but my approach is that I will do first an in silico study through molecular docking, through molecular dynamics, or various high throughput screening or computational approach, so that I can establish that whatever my drug I am hypothesizing that it will cure certain ailment, it will be validated. So it is a very newer approach, and it is a very time saving approach. In literature study, in a PhD, if I say, it takes about 6 months, but in a in silico study, you can get a preliminary result
Hmm.
within 1 month or two. So every researcher in the country is now going towards in silico studies.
Basically, the traditional is so time consuming. These in silico
Yes.
medicines are making so time efficient.
Yes, if I give you an example, my plant was Clerodendrum plant, and it has got around 65 polyphenols in it. So it is not possible for me to screen every 65 compounds in the laboratory. So my approach was in silico studies, through which I conducted a high throughput screening of my 65 polyphenolic compounds against diabetic wound. So I got a good result, and then I established my model. Then I established my research proposal, and then I went for my study.
Those were nice words, sir. So, can you discuss your project on the innovative online pharmaceutical care solutions?
Yes, it was in my B.Pharm days during the 2020 when the COVID-19 has just hit. During that time, AICTE brought an innovative startup approach, which was the AICTE Chhatra Vishwakarma Awards. And I, under the guidance of Mr. Shoma Bhattacharya of Guru Nanak Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Technology, we led a team to design a mobile application that will not only sell emergency medicine, but also allow the patient to book a doctor or to book an emergency service during the COVID-19 period. So it was it was quite a few venture, but somehow we couldn't reach the final. But it is still there, and it was my first entrepreneurship journey. So it was good, and hopefully further we can work on it if time is feasible.
Yes, sir. Uh, now it is an environment of and it is a mahal of GPAT and NIPER. So
Yes.
the NIPER is exam is on June 15th. So you have qualified for several competitive exams like GPAT, GATE, and NIPER JEE. With an impressive ranking, how did you prepare for these exams, and what advice would you give to other inspiring to qualify for such competitive exams?
As I have said earlier, that I didn't go for any kind of tuitions and all. Whatever I did was out of the course curriculum, and I followed the YouTube channels a lot. Okay, so whatever free content is available on the internet, you just find it and study it. And now it is very short time left. It is June 15 NIPER exam. So now it is time for revision and recalling everything you have studied in 4 years. Okay, and now it is time for practice. You buy test papers. There is GPAT Pearson guide, one book is there, then there is Imandar, one another book is there. So you have to study these books, and hopefully you will get the success.
So everyone is taking notes. So you are currently passing a PhD in pharmacy as a
Yes,
DST-INSPIRE Fellow at Birla Institute of Technology.
yes.
So what motivated to pursue a PhD, and how has your experience been so far?
See, I was focused to do PhD after my master's only. So during my master's days, means after my master's project got over, I designed my PhD project and I approached several guides. As I was the topper of the university, so there was a provision for me to apply for DST Inspire. So I applied for that, but when I sat for the NIPER exam, I also qualified for that. Okay. At that point, I approached many guides in NIPER, but they were unwilling to give me a DST Inspire Fellowship. Okay. So at that time, my present guide, who was Dr. Bapi Gorain, I approached him that I am the topper of the institute and I am willing to write a DST Inspire proposal. He agreed. Okay, so that's how I entered into the BIT Mesra again for pursuing my PhD, and, and that's how my journey started.
So can you share any memorable experience or research failure that taught you valuable lessons in your journey as a researcher?
Research failure, if we look, research failure occurs every single day. Okay, there is no particular day to be mentioned. There are lots of failures in research. You don't get success in every day, and whatever you learn is from the negative results. Okay, so the negative results teaches us a lot, and from there you have to modify your proposal, you have to modify your methodology part so that you can avoid those things and get a positive result.
Absolutely, sir. As we heard from childhood, failures are stepping stone to success, as it implies in every aspect of our life. So, sir, uh, do you apply network of pharmacology studies and molecular docking in your current research projects, and what are your significant findings in these areas?
Yes, yes, I currently work with network pharmacology and molecular docking. My approach was that whatever drug, single compound or drug that is available in the foreign market, okay, which is of high price, we will synthesize in our laboratory at a low cost. So for that, I applied the network pharmacology and molecular docking in the initial days of my research, and it gave a significant finding that my drug can treat the ailment which I am targeting, which is traumatic wound. I work currently in traumatic wounds, so my drug is found to be quite potent in this case. So next, my step will be to conduct in vitro and in vivo procedures to test my drug.
So, sir, one of your innovative projects is development of online pharmaceutical care solutions, a mobile application submitted for IICTE Chhatra Vishwa Vishwakarma Award
Vishwakarma Awards.
2020. Vishwakarma
Yes.
Award 2020. What inspired this project, and what are your potential impact on healthcare delivery?
Uh, we applied for this project during the COVID-19 period in 2020. Uh, our main aim was to reach more patients, okay, to meet their needs within their home itself. So we designed such an application and we implemented the application. My college was in Sodhpur area, which is in Kolkata. So we implemented the application in Sodhpur area, and we got a quite good positive response from the people. However, our project couldn't win the award, and due to lack of funding, it failed. But whatever we have learned from this project, we will implement further in our next entrepreneurship ventures.
Okay, sir. You have achieved a lot, sir. As a student from student to now you're a great researcher. So you have multiple awards such as poster competitions, quizzes, presented posters in conferences. How do these experience help in honoring your skills and knowledge? And which award of you're most proud of?
Look, I am proud of each and every award which I have won, and as I have said earlier that I had a fear of public speaking and all. So these awards, these I don't go to any presentation to win. I just go to any presentation to present my best, and that's how I win. Okay, that's how the approach should be. And these awards help me a lot to overcome all my fears and to present in front of a large gathering. Suppose 100 people are there. I have presented in Jadavpur University once, where there was a gathering of more than 800 people. So you can understand the immense pressure I felt. I felt on the stage at that time. But I somehow completed my presentation and just went off the stage, and it was good. So these presentations helped me a lot to gain such a confidence to present in front of all those people.
Yes, sir. Your words has make me to remember some words from Bhagavad Gita, as Krishna said, you should not be attached to the fruit. If you
Yes,
are attached to the result, then you can't do anything. So concentrate on the karma you are doing. So
yes,
the same thing we can see in your journey, sir. So your industrial training at Capital India Private Limited and other virtual industry truths have provided hands-on experiences. So how have these practical experiences influenced your approach to pharmaceutical research?
yes. If you see the current job openings, most of you will be searching for job openings after your bachelor's or master's time. So if you look at the current job openings in the R&D sector or or any other analytical sector, such as in Dr. Reddy's or Cipla, you will see that industrial experience matters the most. Okay, so hands-on training on certain instruments such as spectrophotometry or HPLC or HPTLC, it matters the most. It it is what makes you stand out from a crowd, because lots of people will apply. But if you have those kind of experience which the company needs, then you can easily crack the job. So those experiences which I had in Caplet, okay, where I have learned various quality control techniques, various quality analysis techniques, various microbial techniques, and I have, most importantly, I have learned their HPLC and HPTLC. Okay, so those experiences will count a lot if I just complete my PhD and go for any R&D sector and pursue a job there.
Sir, okay, let's go on to the next segment, that is innovative research projects from idea to implementation. So, sir, you have completed notable projects as part of your master's and bachelor programs. Can you share the journey of your master's project on diabetic wound healing using in situ silver nanoparticles of Clerodendrum species?
Okay, so I have completed my master's project under the guidance of Dr. Vishwatri Sarkar, who is an assistant professor at BIT Mesra. And in his lab, they mostly work on this Clerodendrum species. Clerodendrum species, if we say, it is available majorly in the Assam area, northeastern areas. It is a very potent plant uh, that is eaten by the tribal people of Assam for various medicinal purposes, but this plant has not been explored in the mainstream pharmaceutical application. So we brought this plant in our laboratory, and we conducted a study on diabetic wound healing. Uh, I have innovated this procedure. We have prepared the in situ silver nanoparticle within the hydrogel. So in situ synthesis means you don't have to synthesize the silver nanoparticle outside the hydrogel and then mix it within the hydrogel. In situ means you will have to synthesize within the hydrogel matrix itself. So it is a very time efficient and cost efficient procedure. Within 15 minutes, the silver nanoparticles will be synthesized, which we have challenged one of our industrial collaboration, and they have accepted our product. And as I have said earlier, that it went for patent, and now it is in the technology transfer phase, and we will soon be launching the product in the market.
Those were so innovative to hear, sir. So as we learn like the formulations we learn in the like a student, we learn like uh, just like in laboratory preparation. So this idea is so innovative, sir. So this is like out of the box. So you have authored a chapter on bioremediation in the book called Science Invite Your Perception. Can you give a snapshot of what bioremediation entails and its importance?
So bioremediation basically means application of various microbes for the purpose of uh, for medicinal purposes or any good purposes. So bioremediation, if I say that, if I give you an example, is that penicillin. Okay, Penicillium notatum is a fungus, and whatever we get from Penicillium notatum is penicillin. So uh, we are using Penicillium notatum for our own purposes, for good reasons. Okay, so this is how bioremediation works, and it was authored under Sophia Khanam, who is now in University of Copenhagen, Denmark. So it was a good chapter. You can easily read it online. It is available in Amazon.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So you have a couple of patents related to wound healing formulations. So as we previously the hydrogels you have told, could you tell us more about the innovative aspects of the patents and their potential impact on wound care?
Okay, so both of my patents, if you see, are on diabetic wound. Diabetic wound is like a tickling bomb. The more it stays, the more difficult it becomes to heal.
Yes,
It
sir, absolutely.
it is associated with secondary microbial infection, and it proceeds towards necrosis. Okay, once it proceeds towards necrosis, there is no heal. So my first patent was on in-situ silver nanoparticle gel, which I have told you earlier that it was an innovative procedure to reduce the time and cost. And my second patent, if you see, was on nanofiber mat. Now nanofiber mat is like a tissue paper, and there is a big apparatus known as electrospinning apparatus, which uses 19 to 20 kilovolts of energy to make such a paper-like structure, and it is very bioadhesive in nature. If you see nanofiber mat, it looks like a white tissue paper. Okay, so the feasibility in application of nanofiber mat in diabetic wounds is very high, and as it is a matrix-like structure, it has good permeability, and it has good release properties also, which helps in the active constituent which is trapped within the nanofiber mat to release at the site of wound. So it is highly essential for chronic cases such as diabetic wound healing, or if you say chronic leg ulcers. Okay, so these are the things we have done in the master's work, and these are went for patent. Another one I have done was on microsponge gel. Microsponge gel is have small bead-like appearance. Okay, so it has also got good release properties and good permeation. So this patent will be coming within next month or so. So these are my work which I have done.
Okay, sir. Sir, can you explain more about the diabetic wound? So what make it different from other wounds? Like, so what is the significance of using these hydrogels and microfiber mats
Okay,
to
so
significantly healing?
yes, wounds can be classified into acute wounds and chronic wounds. Acute wounds take less time to heal. However, chronic wound stays for lifetime. If you say about diabetic wound, in case of diabetes, there is persistent hyperglycemia phase for which your body cannot heal wounds easily. The extracellular matrix regeneration phase of wound healing is highly impaired. Collagen synthesis, fibroblast synthesis is blocked. Okay, there is less angiogenesis at the site of wound healing. At the same time, diabetic wound healing increases the chances of secondary microbial infection with Staphylococcus aureus or Escherichia coli, which are available in the air itself. So it increases the chances that the patient has to go for leg amputation, or whatever part it has been affected, the patient has to amputate it. If you see the examples, I don't know if you have seen anybody with diabetic foot ulcer. Okay, so they have got a wound, the patient has got a wound, but they cannot feel the wound, and it stays and grows deep and deep until it digests the entire foot. And at the last, the doctors need to amputate the foot to save the patient. Okay, so the progression is so high. For this reason, we need more and more formulations such as hydrogels or nanofiber mats or microsponge gels or liposomes, which can release the drug at a controlled rate for a sustained period of time. Okay, so if you see the current research papers, these are mostly focused on these kinds of formulations for diabetic, for chronic conditions such as diabetic wound healing. Okay.
Yes, sir. Can it be a cure for the gas gangrene as we see the similarly like same wound?
No. Till now, gas gangrene is the last stage of progression. And if a patient is affected with gas gangrene, he has to lose a limb. So the main target is to stop the progression before it
Progress.
reaches the gas gangrene phase. Okay.
Okay. Yes. So, sir, there is another in silico medicine. We have evaluated the binding affinity of verbascoside on the SIRT1 receptor. So, how do such competition approach complement your experimental research?
Okay. So Verbascoside is one of the compounds found in the Clerodendrum glandulosum species. It is the principal and the major compound. If you look at verbascoside structure, it is a very large moiety, having a molecular weight of 346 moles. Okay, so such a large moiety cannot fit in any receptor or any molecule. So whatever we have to do is computationally simulate the verbascoside molecule, reduce it to its size so that it can fit. Okay. Uh, Verbascoside, another thing, verbascoside has a cost of 93,000 in Indian rupees. 1 mg of verbascoside costs 93,000. So it is a
Oh,
foreign drug which we brought to India, and we have synthesized it to reduce its price. So, and now if we speak about the SIRT1, which is a SIRT1 receptor, it is a main receptor in diabetic wound healing. If this SIRT1 receptor is implicated, then wound healing takes a lot of time. So in silico study, we have simulated the environment where verbascoside will target the SIRT1 receptor, and we have found that it has good binding affinity with SIRT1. Okay, so here I have concluded that verbascoside will target SIRT1, and the last stage of my research, where I have done the in vivo study on C57BL6 mice, which were induced with diabetic wound. Okay, at the last phase, we have collected the tissue of the animals, and we have done the ELISA and Western blot, where we have separated the protein, and at the last we have found that verbascoside will target SIRT1. So if we look at the in silico investigation, it gave us the preliminary result that this compound is potent on such a receptor, And if we look at the in vivo investigation, we have validated our findings. So in silico investigation is highly required to conclude the in vivo investigation. Okay.
So, by this research, the cost efficiency of the Verbascoside has been decreased, no, sir?
Yes, now it is decreased and now it is being synthesized in our laboratory itself.
Okay, so that's a good news for the healthcare system. So,
Yes.
how do you navigate the complexity of securing funding and resources for your research? For your research,
Yeah, can you please repeat?
how to navigate the complexities of securing funding and resources for your research?
Your voice is cracking actually.
Mm. Am I audible, sir? Hello?
Now, yes, now you are audible.
Sir, the question is, how do you navigate the complexity of securing fundings and resource for your research?
Yes, it is a very important question. Okay, most of the in most of the Indian research culture, funding is most important because there is very scarcity of funding uh, in the research system. I don't know whom to blame. The government is to blame or what, but there is more funding required in the pharmaceutical sciences. Okay, so if we look at the current funding agencies, which are ICMR, DBT, the Department of Biotechnology, ICMR is Indian Council of Medical Research, Department of Science and Technology. Okay, so these are the top funding departments of the government of India. However, they screen a lot. If you give the research proposal to them, they will screen a lot. There are 10 to 15 research scientists in a board that will actually see your project, and they will decide whether your project is feasible or not. And in there also there are a lot of complexities are there, a lot of partialities are there. Okay, lot of inclinations towards national institute there, it is present, so it is very difficult to bring funding to the laboratory. Okay, but if we look at our university, which is BIT Mesra, uh, we are completely government funded. Every lab is having funding, so which makes our research easier. So most of you who are planning to go for PhD, go for research, I will say that first you go for funding, first you find the funding, first you approach your guide. Okay, sir, uh, if there is any funding available in your uh, guidance, then only I can do. Okay, be it a junior research fellowship, be it a senior research fellowship, you take that and you start your research work, but do not go without funding. It is a request from my side because in the PhD sector now the competition is increasing because number of students are increasing. So if you remain unfunded, it will be very difficult to proceed with your work. Okay.
Sir, absolutely. The Indian government is only uh, spending only 6.5% of the Indian budget. So there is a lot of scarcity of funding in the research and academics. So would you give, what advice and tips would you give for the researchers to keep in their mind before publishing their publications?
Okay. Now, if we see the news, the Indian and Chinese researchers, they have got very bad names now due to they are publishing lots and lots of articles in 1 year, and most of the articles are getting retracted. More than 50% of the articles are getting retracted because they are copying, because the paraphrasing is incorrect, because they have multiple same articles in multiple journals. These are the malpractices which are going on in the Indian and especially in the Asian uh, region. Okay, so my request to all the researchers who want to publish, do not publish for your own good, do not publish for your own academic records, but publish for the good of the society. That is how your approach should be. If you look at the current publishing trend, nowadays Indian researchers are more inclined towards the foreign researchers. especially researchers from Arab countries for the funding. They publish in articles such as MDPI. Okay, MDPI or certain other journals are there which charge you money. Okay, do not go for such journals which charge you money to publish. Okay, they give you open access, gold open access or silver open access, but they charge you money. This downgrades the quality of the articles which are getting published. Okay, so go for subscription options, go for your work which you want to publish. Do not just go for publication, do not just go for publication for the sake of your own good. Do some good to the society, do some good to the Indian scenario.
Sir, I have listened a lot like some predatory journals. They will
Yes,
take your research work and they will do something like.
yes.
So the doubt which I come is like if we give our research work to them, so what will be their profit? So what do they gain from it by
Okay.
making some predatory things?
Yes, these predatory journals will first charge you money to publish your articles. They will have your money. Next, when you submit your article in this predatory journal, the editorial board members, they will take your research and they will publish on their own without acknowledging you or without giving your name. At the same time, they will reject your article. Okay, so you have lost all your research and you have lost all your money.
Okay. Next day, my research is coming from another person name.
Yes, you cannot
So
do anything.
yes, sir. So you have done an amazing research work, sir, like hydrogels and the Verbascoside and a lot of formulations you have done. So how do you envision your contribution to the field of pharmacy science in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, which I have planned, is I will join the R&D sector and I will work more on biomaterials because there is a scarcity in biomaterials for these kinds of wound, and I will stay in the wound healing sector only. So I will focus more on biomaterials, bringing newer and innovative biomaterials to the field. Uh, if possible, then I will go for postdoctorate in some other countries, or if it is possible, then in India itself, in good national universities.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It is an amazing visionary, sir. You will contribute a lot for the pharmaceutical science and on the government of India as your vision is so inspiring and motivational, and it has inspired me also for that. So let's come to the next segment, that is collaboration and community. So it is a lot important to collaborate in the research to make some extraordinary works together. So how can events like this one contribute the fostering a culture of collaboration, innovation, and excellence in pharmacy and pharmacology and toxicology fields?
Yes, collaboration is highly necessary in this field. If you start your research work, if you plan your research work, then there are, remember one thing, that there are thousands of scientists in the globe. Okay, so if whatever you have planned, that has been planned in some other countries which you don't know. Okay, so in this case, collaboration is very necessary to grow yourself, to grow the pharmaceutical sector. Collaboration to the US market is highly necessary for the Indian scenario. Okay, so that the US drugs, which are very high cost, so that they can enter the Indian markets at a very low cost. This should be the approach of the pharmaceutical industry. And don't and one advice I will give: do not just collaborate for your own good. Do some good to the society. Okay.
Sir, absolutely. So there are many students that I have seen, and I have also experienced that if I am interested in a certain topic to do some research, so I will do some work and like I will do research and I will write some sort of thesis. And after writing some thesis, and I will find that somebody also have done this also. So what I
Yes,
have collected the data, some already are done. So it is finished and it is published also. The research they have took the patent. So
yes,
there will be some feeling like that. So it is all time waste. So what should I do now? And for like further, I will lose interest in research. So there are many students like me who have experienced these experiences. So what did you suggest for them to do, like to sustain in the research?
yes. Whenever you are entering in the research field, uh, go to some social media websites, go to Google Scholar, find authors, find researchers of your own field. You have LinkedIn access now. You can easily find authors there. You directly message them that I am this, I am working under this I am working under this guide of this university, and you message them and you say that I want to collaborate with you. You have to do like hundreds of messages in a day so that one can reply. Okay, take their advice. Show them show them your work. Take their advice, take their inputs. Okay, so that you can improve your work. Okay.
Okay, so thank you for your amazing advice, sir, and it will be useful for a lot of students who are listening this podcast. So let's wrap up our conversation by three piece advice would you give to someone who wants to make a difference in healthcare research, just like you have.
Okay, so first of all, I will say that patience is the key. If you don't have patience, then I have seen many researchers, they have quit. Okay, quit from this sector, they have went to job and they are doing there, but they have quit the research because they don't have patience. Not every day you will get positive results. You have to face the negative results first. Okay, so you should have the patience to handle that. Next is hard work. There is no other option but to hard work. Okay, and there is no other shortcut. And the last of all is your confidence. Show your confidence in your research, whatever you have found out in your literature review stage. Okay, you are the master of that. Think yourself like that you are the master of whatever research you are doing. Don't just depend on your guide, don't just depend on your supervisor to give you advice. Find yourself, do it yourself. Okay, so these are the advice which I think that are important.
Yes, sir, absolutely. There, you have given an amazing advice, sir. It will be helpful for a lot of students. So, this is time for let's wrap up our conversation, start the Q&A session. So, the interns who are listening to unmute your mic, feel free to unmute and drop the questions you want to ask Ankit, sir. So, there is a question from Mayuri Chavan. So, what type of funding are available for PhD and what the criteria of achieving these funding, sir?
Okay, there are two categories of funding. First, the one project which is written by your guide or the principal investigator. In that case, you can join either as a junior research fellow or a senior research fellow. For a junior research fellow, the stipend is around 37,000 per month, with an HRA of 9 to 18% in India. Okay. And for a senior research fellow, the stipend is around 45,000 per month, and the HRA is similar, around 9 to 18%. For a junior research fellow, the tenure is 3 years, and for senior research fellow, the tenure is 2 years. And the funding agencies which provide this kind of fellowship are ICMR, DBT, DST, and CSIR. These are the major funding agencies. Apart from that, many IITs such as IIT Delhi, they also fund this kind of programs. So in this case, your principal investigator or your guide needs to write a research proposal and submit to such funding agencies. Then there will be screening, and then there will be selection. Okay, so this is one thing. Another thing is own funding. Okay, own funding which includes the CSIR SRF, the ICMR SRF, and the DST-INSPIRE Fellowship. It is a highly advantageous for a researcher, because whatever it is your own. Nobody can remove you from the position. In case of JRF, your if your guide feels like that you are not doing a work, then he can make you resign. But in case of own funding, nobody is there to remove you. Okay, so you have your own funding, and it is the best.
Yes, sir.
There are exams also like ICMR JRF exam, DPT JRF exam. So if you can crack, you will get their funding for and these fundings are mostly for 5 years, which is very good.
Yes, sir. There is another question from Renuka Atul. How much funding need for publication approximately?
Okay, so funding for publication, which I don't like. I mostly publish in non-funded journals, okay, which are mostly
Yes, sir.
subscription-based models. But if you see the requirement of funding in top journals, such as there is one journal named Journal of Control Release, okay, in Elsevier. They charge an APC of around $23, around 2,300 something. Okay, so you can calculate in the Indian rupees, it is a great amount. So if you can give,
Yes,
you
sir.
can publish, obviously. But
To $2,000.
yes, $2,300. That's a great amount.
Yes, sir. More than I like.
Yes. If you have that kind of funding in your lab, you can obviously publish. But from my side, I don't like such kind of work.
Yes, sir. There is another question from Mayuri Chavan. Can you explain more about DST intern fellowship and what things should keep in mind and prepare you would advise before applying for PhD?
Okay. DST-INSPIRE Fellowship is provided to the university toppers uh, from nationally recognized universities. Okay. Uh, Nationally recognized means where the government provides funding. Okay. So you have to top your master's program, then you can apply for your DST-INSPIRE Fellowship. Next step, you have to write a research proposal. Your research proposal should be good. And whatever funding you are mentioning, suppose you need 50 lakhs, you have to justify that amount. And at the same time, your guide's research profile should be good. Then only you will get such a funding.
Yes, sir. There is another question from Mega S. Rali. Can you name some journals having no APC?
There are lots of journals with no APC. There is one thing, you can paste your abstract. You first prepare your abstract and the title of your work and paste the abstract in the Elsevier Journal Finder. There is a website known as Elsevier Journal Finder. You paste there and you will see that lots of journals are there without open access. So I will always prefer that you go for journals without open access. Okay.
So there is another question from Nehita Purna. Sir, what if we not topper in masters, and how can we get in the fellowships?
Definitely you can get a fellowship. For that, the main criteria, uh, if I say about ICMR JRF or DBT JRF, the main criteria is you have to qualify either GPAT or either GATE. Okay. Then you have to sit for the interview with your principal investigator. If your PI is satisfied, then you will easily get the position.
Sir, another question from Anis. Sir, what are top corpus indicated journals?
Uh, I think it will be Scopus Index journals.
Scopus Index journal.
Yes. You will find in the Elsevier journal rankings uh, the impact factor. Look for the impact factor of the journal. If the impact factor of the journal is around 10 to 15, it is very good, and if it is beyond 20, it is excellent. So you can easily go to a journal web page and check for the impact factor, 5-year impact factor or 2-year impact factor. Okay.
Yes, sir. For another question from Mega, is it good to publish in university journals like RGH or Raghu's Journals of Pharmaceutical Science than other journals?
No, it is obviously not good. If the journal is at least Scopus indexed, then you go for such journals. But if it is not having any Scopus indexing, then don't go for such journals. The best one is the SCI indexing, which is the Science Citation Index. Okay, or Science Citation Index expanded. You go for such journals. Do not target these smaller journals.
Yes, sir. Is there any questions? Please drop in the chat box or feel free to unmute your mic. Sir, I have a small question, sir.
Yes.
Sir, there is a myth that there will be a top journal like Science Direct and other, which is by Elviser. So once you publish in that journals, your life will be set. There is a myth, sir. I have heard this from first year. So how is it true, sir?
No, it is not only Science Direct or Elsevier. There are many journals, there are many publishing houses, big publishing houses. There is ACS, American Chemical Society. There is RSC, Royal Society of Chemistry. There is RPS, Royal Pharmaceutical Society. Go for such journals. There is Oxford Academy Press. There is Springer. Then there is Elsevier and Science Direct. So there are lots and
Yes, sir.
lots of journals. So whatever you have to publish, you have to find a gap, or find a research gap, which has not been published earlier. These type of journals accept such publications. Okay. If we see the COVID-19, during COVID-19 there were lots and lots of publication, but now that field is saturated. Most of the journals don't accept articles on COVID-19. Okay. So you have to find certain gaps to publish in such journals.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So let's wrap up this conversation. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, sir. Thank you for all the organizations who have organized this research cafe. So I want to thank Innovation Ideation Club who have organized and Ajit sir who have organized this research cafe. So please fill the feedback form. The feedback form will be within 2 minutes.
Sir, I had a doubt regarding CSR NET examinations and JRF examinations.
Yes, please.
Sir, usually right after completion of a bachelor's degree in pharmacy, we can give JRF examinations according to the notification that they have given before.
Yes.
So, but I'm currently in 4th year of B Pharmacy. I want to give a try for this exam, but the syllabus I had gone through it. It's so much for me to complete within 6 months like that. So, can you give any suggestions to prepare for that exams?
See, basically CSIR NET examination, the examinations are based on life sciences. So it is quite different from that of pharmacy. So you have to prepare yourself in their syllabus, which is a life science syllabus. Okay, and giving CSIR NET exam after bachelor's, it is good, but if you qualify for CSIR NET also, most of the Indian universities, they don't accept uh, such students because the preference will be for masters. Okay, so they will first see whether you are a master's candidate or not, and whether you are CSIR qualified or not. Okay, so this is the current scenario. But it is always highly advisable to give such exams, and all the best for your exam.
Thank you, sir. So, one more doubt. So mostly
Yes.
when doing masters and specialized subjects, uh, I basically don't have an idea which subject is better or which subject is most preferable to do masters. So can you give any suggestions that this subject would be better based on the outside scenarios for research or like that?
Okay. So what is your aim after masters? If you can share it with me.
After masters, I would like to go into the research field, and basically my goal was to become a scientist.
Okay. If you see the current R&D sector in top companies, they are recruiting mostly masters from pharmaceutics and pharmacology, and few people from quality assurance. So these are the subjects which are always preferred, but it is not like that that if you study masters in pharmacognosy, your research career will come to an halt. You can always pursue higher education if you have the will. Okay, so as per industry needs, pharmaceutics and pharmacology along with quality assurance is preferable.
Sir, I had gone through that. One thing is about can we do integrated PhD along with masters? And if so, can you suggest any universities or institutes that are offering integrated PhD things like that?
Integrated PhD, currently I don't have any knowledge regarding integrated PhD in pharmacy, but I know integrated PhD in science. Most of the IITs, they offer integrated PhD in science, mathematics, and these kind of subjects. But I currently don't have any idea regarding this integrated PhD.
Sir, I have also one last doubt. So, can you
Yes.
tell me what is the scope of PhD for pharmacology background who had completed masters in pharmacology?
Yes, the scope is very high. Okay, the industry needs candidates from pharmacology. Okay, for if you complete your PhD, it will open the gates for managerial positions. Managerial position in any good company. Okay, so it is always advisable to complete your PhD if you are aiming for the research and development sectors.
So I want to just know that how you stayed consistent and be active in in achieving GATE and NIPER such top examinations, and how you cope up with those examinations every day.
Firstly, I have divided my day into certain time schedules. At the first half of my day, I will study only my course curriculum, which was my master's course curriculum, and at the second half, during the night time, I would study this for competitive exams. So I invested two of my halves in different subjects. So that is how I prepared.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, there is a question from one intern. Sir, will you be able to give the suggestion regarding the books for the preparation of various exams like GPAT, CSIR net?
Okay. For CSIR net, I will ask you to buy one Arihant. Okay. Arihant guide comes. I don't know the exact. I don't remember the exact name, but the publisher is Arihant. It is a big, means it is a very thick book. It is available on Amazon. You can buy it. It is a very good book. And for GPAT, there is GPAT Pearson and Imandar. Okay. So these are the books which will help you.
Sir, thank you for your wonderful session, sir. Your suggestions and your experience has made us truly inspirable. So, sir, there is another question. Sir, how can we prepare for fellowship exams?
Okay, fellowship exam are quite different than mainstream competitive exam. In fellowship exam, whatever sector you want to work with, suppose you want to work in life sciences or chemical sciences or environmental sciences, you have to prepare separately, and your course curriculum will be different. So you have to go to the web page of that fellowship examination. Suppose if you are giving ICMR JRF, you have to give you have to go to the web page of ICMR JRF and see what the syllabus includes. Most of them includes life sciences syllabus, the basic life sciences. Okay. In the first phase, both of the exams are very difficult. Okay. In the first phase, you have to crack the written exam, and in the next phase, you have to crack the interview. So you have to prepare accordingly.
Sir, thank you for your suggestion, sir. So, let's end this conversation and the session. So, thank you for coming for and giving your wonderful insight to our intern, sir. It was a wonderful session, and we have learned a lot.
Thanks to the hosts. Thanks to Climate Organization for organizing this wonderful session. Hope they do it continuously to benefit the students. Thank you. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for coming, sir. So, all the interns fill the feedback form. It will be open for the next 5 minutes. After that, we will end up the session.